Hi guys, this video is about how to do black and white reversal processing at home. I know there are black and white reversal processing kit sold by Rollei, sold by Fomapan, but if you're like me, based in Singapore, it's difficult to get hold of them unless you ship them from overseas website, and the shipping charges usually add on to the cost of this processing kit. So I'd like to share with you how you can do black and white reversal processing at home using relatively easy to get processing chemicals. Okay, so we'll talk about it a little bit more, but before I go into that, um, just like to have a disclaimer. Although I say this is processing at home, right? Do not be fooled into thinking that this is very safe, right? As dealing with chemicals, we have to be aware of the safety concern, right? So here are a few points. Please read the MSDS, the Material Safety Data Sheet. Understand the chemicals, because in this process we will be dealing with some raw powder chemicals which used to mix the bleach, right? So when dealing with powder chemicals, I usually wear a mask, something like the N95 mask, so that I won't breathe in any powder chemicals. I also advise you to wear your safety goggles and also put on your safety gloves, right? So this is my disclaimer. Do take care of all this before you try the processing at home. So here is a quick rundown of the process before I show you how I do it on my video. Okay, for this home-based processing, I am proposing a much simplified process. First of all, you develop your black and white film. I suggest that you use the Kodak HC110. This black and white developer is quite commonly found. We can get this in Singapore. All chemicals will be processed at 20 degrees Celsius. So I recommend 10 minutes developing time, right? Then once this is done, you should wash the film for 1 minute or so, right? This to wash away the developer so that they will not contaminate the bleach. Which the next steps, the next step is using the potassium permanganate bleach. I will bleach it to from 5 to 6 minutes. Again, this need to be used at 20 degrees Celsius. After that, we will give it a wash and then remove the film from the processing reel and then re-expose it to light. And then we will reel back the film and then put it through a second developing stage by reusing the developer that we used in the first stage. So for this one, we just need to redevelop it for 4 minutes, again at 20 degrees C, and then we do a final water wash. Okay, so this is the brief summary of the process. Now we can move into the my demonstration. My demonstration is because this is actually the first time I'm using this process and this set of chemicals. So my first attempt wasn't too successful, but at the end of the video I'll share with you what steps I take to correct it, and my second attempt turned out to be much better. Okay, so let's move on to the video. Okay, for this testing, I'll be using the Rollei Superpan 200. This is a film that I used for black and white reversal processing before. It has very good deep blacks and then clear highlight. This is my bud roll. I also have a roll, 2 short rolls of 35mm film, about 7 to 8 frames per roll. This will allow me to do some bracketing for each row, and then depending on the result, do I need to use the second row for more testing. The camera I using for the testing will be my trusty Nikon RF601. I have this camera for more than 15 years. I will set the ISO to ISO 200. So for the test scene, I usually will have some blacks, as you can see, the black card, so that we can see how blacks will turn out. We also have a white paper crane full from a piece of white paper to see how the highlights will turn out, and some strong color like the red, the yellow, the blue. I have a refractor cut on the right hand side to bounce some light back. Okay, let's talk about the bleach now. This is the potassium permanganate. You can get it from the pharmacy easily. The next one is the pH reducer, also known as sodium bisulfate. Right, so I'll mix it into part A and part B, and then after that, actually part B is diluted sulfuric acid. So when we are ready to use, we'll pour part B into part A, following the safety guideline that we always pour acid into water. Okay, so we only need about 250 ml of the bleach, but that may be a bit too little to mix. So I'm going to mix 500 ml, 250 ml of part A and 250 ml of part B, but when I mix them together, I only use half of it for my processing. Potassium permanganate, I will need 1 gram to be mixed with 250 ml of water. So I have a weighing scale to help me. Right. And then for the sodium bisulfate, I will need 13.5 gram to be mixed with 250 ml of water. So all this need to be maintained about 20 degrees when you are ready to use it. So only mix part A to B, part B into A when you are almost ready to use it, because it doesn't keep well. Okay, next is the developer. I'm using Kodak HC110. I'm using dilution B at 20 degrees C. Will be developing it for 10 minutes. This is a starting point. I will need to further fine-tune the developing time after looking at the result. As I mentioned, this is the first time I'm doing it, so I'm just taking 10 minutes as a starting point. So this is my tank with the test roll already loaded inside. Notice that this is a stainless steel tank, because it's easier to load the real bag after the re-exposing stage. So I've poured in the developer, and for the first minute I will do a continuous agitation. After that, for every minute I will do a few inversion. Okay, we are left with about 4 minutes of the development cycle. Right, so the process is going to end soon, so I have to start to get ready with my bleach. So I'm going to mix part B into part A for the bleach, and then make sure that it's kept at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the development has ended, so I'm going to pour it out. Do not throw it away, because we use it for the second developing stage. And after that, I will wash with cold water for about 2 minutes. Okay, so now the film is washed for 2 minutes. I'm ready to pour in the bleach now. So 250 ml of bleach at 20 degrees C. Same thing, I will do a full inversion for the first minute, and then for the next 4 minutes I will do a few inversion for every minute. So the bleach will be for 5 minutes in total. Okay, the bleaching time is up. So we're going to pour out the bleach and then wash the tank for about 1 to 2 minutes so that the bleach is washed away, and then we can open up the tank to do the re-exposure. So this is how the film look after the bleaching. So you can see it's yellowish in color, although that will depend on the type of film being used. You need to re-expose the whole reel of film to lights, just about 30 seconds all in all for a row of 35 mm to expose the front and back. You'll notice that you can see a positive image now. So after the second exposure, we can now put it through the second developer. I'm reusing it from the first stage of developing. I didn't actually check the temperature, so it may be around 23 to 24 degrees, and later we'll see what's the effect. Okay, so I'll do this for 4 minutes. You can do this in daylight because the film is already exposed to light, so not a problem. Okay, here we have the result from my first attempt. Unfortunately, there are some issue. The most obvious that you can see here is the emulsion peel off at the second developing stage, right? I think the main reason is that because I reused the developer that is from the first stage, so I did not cool it down to 20 degrees, so I guess it was about 23 to 24 degrees, and when I use it to develop it the second time, the emulsion start to peel off. When I hold up the film with my fingers, I can feel that the emulsion actually came off quite easily, right? So you can also see that there are some blister on the film itself. That means there are some very small part where the emulsion is starting to come off but not fully come off. Here you see the one that's badly peeled off. Some parts is still not too bad, right? Yeah, but overall I would say this is a successful processing. This for my first attempt. On my second attempt, I will share a slightly more successful one shortly at the next part of this video. Okay, so you can take a look at how for this Superpan under this processing method, right, how the highlights look like. Okay, this part there's no image at all. That will be how clear the highlight can be. There's a brown tint to it. So I went on to develop a second time, and this is showing the result on the top strip of this video. So I did two things in my second attempt. One of them is to reduce the developer used at the second stage to 20 degrees, and the other thing I did was to reduce the strength of the bleach by 50%. So in the earlier part of the video where I talk about the ingredients used for the bleach, after mixing I further reduced the strength by 50%, right? So the result turned out to be quite okay, as seen in this top strip. You see I did some bracketing, so you can see exposure of different intensity. For 10 minutes of the first developer, I think the camera metering is quite alright, but I will leave it to you or other user to further fine-tune the process, right? So all in all, I would say that this black and white reversal processing can be carried out at home using easily to find chemical, but I find the result is not as good as the full commercial process that I use to help my clients to process, right? So maybe I'll talk about it in another video. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you can also try this process. If there's any question or comment, please leave it your comment below this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel. Also give it a like if you find the information to be useful, and share it with your friends. Thank you very much.